Hello, in this video I'm going to walk you through how you can use AMOS from your data analysis using AMOS, especially if you are a social science student, business or marketing student, or if you are from the general science and you have your data, you want to perform your data analysis using AMOS, or if you are so much interested in using partial equation modeling to perform your analysis, then this video is going to be helpful to you. Okay, so in the first place, what is AMOS? AMOS is simply, the full meaning of AMOS is simply analysis of moment structures. It is data analysis software, as I said, developed by IBM. So it is an SPSS extension. If you have SPSS and you don't have AMOS, you cannot perform this analysis. So it's an SPSS extension. It allows we researchers to test and estimate complex relationships between variables using path diagrams and statistical modeling techniques. Key features of AMOS include, just as you are seeing on my screen, it has graphical interface of which it can allow you to develop models visually, or you can build your models visually. And then SCM, as I said, is used to test hypotheses involving particular predictor variables or independent variables and outcome variables. I'm going to use these terminologies a lot, these terms a lot, so you have to understand me. It also has path analysis, which assess the direct and indirect effects or the direct and indirect impacts of relationship between variables. Also has model fit indices. It provides statistical measures, example RMCA, which you can be able to use to check or to assess the fitness of the model. And then so common applications of AMOS. AMOS is applicable to we social science students. We can use AMOS. Those from the business and marketing side can also use AMOS in the same way as those coming from the healthcare and medicine fields. They can also use AMOS to do or to run the analysis. Now, key terminologies in AMOS include latent variable. Latent variable. If I say latent variable, we have others. We have observed and unobserved latent variables. Example is this one, as you can see from my screen. This is an example of a latent variable, as you can see from my screen. So this latent variable, what's the meaning of this latent variable? Latent variable, as you can see from my screen, is also called construct or factor or variable. In other words, it's a variable that cannot be directly be measured, but it is inferred from multiple observed or measured variables. So this variable or construct, it cannot be directly measured. In other words, it represents a concept. So an example of such a concept may be intelligence, motivation, or customer. So in simple terms, they represent abstracts or concepts such as I said, intelligence, motivation, and then customer. How do you measure intelligence, or how do you measure motivation? These are abstracts or these are concepts. So normally this particular symbol or diagram represents it when we are running the analysis. So if you are conducting a research on motivation here becomes a concept or abstract. How are you going to be able to measure it unless you raise questions to capture how someone is motivated or someone is or how someone is not motivated? So the questions you are going to raise in your questionnaire to assess what actually motivates someone or not. We use this symbol to represent that concept or abstract. So you call this one unobserved or unobservable constructs. They are mostly measured through the indicators. So I'm going to show you how the indicators, as we go along, I will show you all that. So this, you can call it a circle or circle. We use this to represent the concepts or abstracts. As I said, they are not observed, but we measure it through indicators or other variables. Let me delete it. I'm going to walk you through some of the things you see on the screen on the interface. I'm going to walk you through some of them. Let me go through and then go to the next one, which is indicators. As I mentioned earlier on, indicators or observed variables, or I simply call them manifest variables. So these ones, an example, a typical example is this. This is an indicator. This rectangular box is an indicator. So these ones are measures or means used, as I said, in capturing unobserved concepts. So the circle that I drew or I brought, that one represents unobservable variable, and this indicator, we use this in measuring that concept or abstracts. So this example, this is a rectangle. We can have something like this circle. Yes, so these ones are indicators or unobserved variables or manifest variables. Right. So in your questionnaires, all the questions you raise, if you could clearly remember in my previous video, I suggested a topic that we were treating, that is the effect of renewable energy on Ghana's sustainable development. This is a topic I suggested. So I made mention that renewable energy, RE, becomes our independent variable, or in other words, exogenous variables or predictor variables. So this RE, renewable energy, for us to be able to measure it, we need to raise lots of questions. So all the questions you raise under that particular construct, of which is represented by the circle, we are going to, if you could also remember how we coded them in using SPSS, I showed you how you can code them. So we coded it RE1, RE2 up to RE10. So this RE1, RE2, they are questions that we raised under the constructs. All these questions are being represented in AMOS by this square or rectangle. Right. Let me take these ones off and move to the next term. The next term is a residual term. Error or residual term are simply unexplained variance in a variable that is not accounted for by the predictors in a model. What this error term does is it ensures that models account for uncertainty in predictions. Yes, this is the rule, or this is what actually the error term does. What is the error term here? Let me show you the error term. So this is an indicator, and this one is our error term. A circle with one arrow is the error term as you can see from my screen. Now, this error term, it should always be present in endogenous variable. It should always be present on the endogenous variable or the dependent variable to be able to capture unexplained variance in the latent constructs. Alright, so let me take this one off and then move to the next one. For you to get rid of the one on the screen, you have to click on the erase objects. So you can click on it, it will be erased. Alright, so the next one is, I'm going to, let me bring the circle back and then show you the arrow you see here with with the arrow you see here. This particular arrow, okay, let me show you one thing. Let me bring this one. This particular arrow, we call it direct path effects. What does it do? This one, it helps in checking the hypothesized directional effects of one variable. If you want to know the effect of this on this, we use this arrow in checking. It's not only this, we also have the double arrow. So let me bring another circle. This double arrow, we call it covariance. What does it do? It determines the direction of association between two or more variables. So as you can see from my screen, now we can call this first unobserved variable an independent variable. Then we call this one dependent variable. In other words, predictor variable, outcome variable, or exogenous variable, or and then this one becomes our endogenous variable. So a clear example from the research that we want to conduct, Ghana Sustainable Development here, which I coded it and GSD, becomes our endogenous variable. So I will walk you through how you can also input or code or place all the codes in these symbols or diagrams you see on the screen. Now, I have made mention of error term. So for you to, I told you error term is always placed, or it should always be by the dependent variable. So if we are using this particular research, for instance, of which we have just two variables, this one I said becomes the outcome variable. Then we can place the error term here. Sorry, we can just place it. Once you click on it, it will appear twice. You can just place the error term here. Okay, so now I've shown you the covariance, direct path effects, error term or residual term, indicators, latent variables. Now, let's check the things here. So here, if you want to, the symbols you see here, if you want to, they are movable. You can just place them at any point that you want or you wish. If you want to decrease, if you want to decrease the size, you can click on change the shape of object, which is represented by this thing, this object as you can see from my screen. You can click on it and then you come and click. Once you click on it and then you drag it, you can be able to just adjust to any shape or any size that you wish or you want. So as you can see from my screen, once you release your hand from the mouse, it will be done, or to give you the shape that you want. Any of them, you can do it to any shape that you wish or you want. As you can see from my screen, they are very flexible. Okay, so this one, it gives you the opportunity to do that. Then you can be also able to change the direction that you want. Let me move to, if you want to place the direction that you want, you can also be able to use the move objects, and then you'll be able to, will give you the opportunity to move it any any direction that you want, as you can see from my screen. Once you click on it, it will give you the chance to just move it to any direction that you want. And then if you want to delete, then you have to click on the cut or the erase sign for it to be deleted. Then here, this particular place, it gives you the opportunity to load your data, of which I'm going to do another video to show you how you can easily load in your data. But be mindful that AMOS, for your data to be ready to be used in AMOS, it has to be first prepared in SPSS. Check if you don't have any missing data. I mean, you have to clean the data, of which I did a video on it, how you can input your data into SPSS, clean it, process it, convert it into structured format. I have a video on it in SPSS. If you haven't watched, you can just check and then uh, learn how to do all these things before you can be able to load the data into AMOS and run your tests. So this place will give you the opportunity to load your data, and then analysis properties will also give you the chance to select the outputs, the options, the standard estimates, standardized estimates, squared multiple correlation. As we go along, I'll load in a data, an example, and then I'll walk you through how you can perform all these tests, or how you can ascertain or get all these results. So you have factor score weight, covariance estimate, correlation estimate, and all that. You can also perform your bootstrap here if you want to check your bootstrap. If you want to do bootstrapping to check the the, the hypothesis and all that, you can be able to do it here as well. Then right, so now if you want to move the whole thing, initially I showed you how you can be able to move them one by one, each particular object as I did. If you want to move the whole model like this, then first of all you have to click on preserve symmetries. Preserve symmetries can be seen on the screen. You click on preserve symmetries and you click on move objects. The two must be highlighted at the same time. Then you can be able to move the objects together. Now you can see that this place can be moved, and then once I click on the main console, because they are all connected to this, once I move this, it can be able to move them. Right, let me erase it. And then if you want to construct, initially I brought the indicators and then unobserved variable, or the constructs. If you want to construct, or if you want to bring all of them together, you can just click on the top, which is the first one here. You click on it, and then you bring it to your interface, and then you double click on it, so it gives you the indicators that you want. So as you can see from my screen, the top one is error term, as I said, or residual term. This becomes the indicator, as normally represented by a rectangle or square, anyhow you want it. And then this is the unobserved construct. So if you want one, so let me show you a clear example. Now, for this research, we coded, and then for RE, you got RE1 up to 10. Right, let's go back to AMOS. If you want to get 10 indicators, as we have already raised for that RE being the constructs, then we have to double click, so it gives us 10 indicators or 10 observed variables, since that one is going to be used to measure RE, which is now our concepts or abstracts. So we are going to double click on it. Now we've gotten 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now we have this. Let's delete one. Good. Now we have this. So we can be able to move this. Once you click on present symmetries, you can highlight the directional, rotate the indicators of latent variables, or the direction that you want it to move. Now you can see from my screen that it is able to move to the direction that I want it to be. You can click on the move object and be able to select all of it together, as you can see from my screen. So as you can see from my screen, all the ones that you see here are error term or residual term. These are indicators represented with rectangles. Why I said rectangle or square is that, as I said, you can change it to any shape that you want. So now if I want to change this one to any shape that I want, I will click on the first one that I selected, and then rather come and click on the change shape or rotate. So once I click on it, it will be able to give me the opportunity to twist or change. It is very flexible. It will give you the opportunity to change it to any shape that you want. Now, as you can see, it's now square, not rectangle anymore. This one to give you the opportunity to change it to any shape, right? I have already shown you how you can do all this. Good. Now, as you can see from my screen, the interface is giving me portraits, or is showing me, it has given me the portrait interface. If you want to change it, the options here are available for you to choose. So you can move to you can go to plugins. You can be able to use to name all unobserved variables as in the symbols that you have here, that the construct, it doesn't have any names in it, and then the error term doesn't have any names in it. So you can be able to, you click on it, right? You click on it and you're able to name it for you. So this is error 1, error 2, error 3, up to error 10, as I showed you earlier on from the research that we wanted to construct. This is up to from 1 to array up to 10. So we have error 1 up to 10, as I told you. So um you can go to view, and then go to interface properties, and then it will give you the opportunity to change the interface to, if you want landscape, you can be able to do that. Good. So as you can see from my screen now, I have the landscape. Initially it was portraits, so I've changed it to landscape. If you want to send it back to portraits, you can also do that by checking the options in it and then select the ones that suit you, or the ones that you prefer. Right, so this is a quick introduction of AMOS, how the things that you can do with AMOS to easily run your tests to get the results that will help you get good statistical results for your research. If you find this video helpful, you can like or you can subscribe. So each time I post a new video, you'll be the first person to be notified. Thank you guys for watching.